Here we go. Hold on. Hey, everybody, beautiful vegans. I'm Mariquita, or even MQ. I'm here with JJ of Vegan Knowledge, and this is like a little a chat fun
Party.
time. I'm excited. Yeah, a little nighttime party, a vegan party. We're gonna have a lot of laughs. So I want to know who's joining. Please let us know who's joining. Give StreamYard permission. If you'll see the post and it'll say click here to give StreamYard permission to use your name so we'll know who's watching us.
Yeah.
And what else? Let's see. And
Don't
anyway,
forget to
welcome.
subscribe to Mariquita's channel.
Right, subscribe, hit subscribe, and then check out Vegan Knowledge on YouTube to subscribe to JJ's channel. So she is going to tell us all about vegan knowledge and all about her journey into veganism and whole food plant-based living. And we're also waiting for Dawn, her sidekick, to come, and
Definitely.
the other bean, one of the coffee beans.
Hi, Ellen. Welcome. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Ellen's here. We got Ellen and MQ in the house over here. Oops, did I point the wrong way? I
Yeah,
forgot it's opposite, right? When I'm looking at the screen.
I think
But
so.
I'm so excited to be here. I have just loved your channel ever since I found it. I'm like, your spirit is just so calming, and you're such a good coach. So everybody needs to have a coaching session with her. Definitely, she will help you kind of in so many ways because like I'm a very very like mellow person. Um, it takes a lot to kind of, you know what I mean, like to ever even get me mad at anything. But in when we become vegan and we're so passionate about this cause and we realize some things that are not really a joke are how people joke about it, like, and you never realized it, you know, your entire life, that this is the connection. The animals are at risk, and I think that's what you help us do, is like navigate the world of, okay, not everybody's vegan and not everybody's ready to be vegan yet, which is kind of sort of along the same lines as the coffee bean, you know, theory that hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about. So, but
Yeah, we
anyway,
better.
that's my commercial from Mariquita,
Thank you
since
so
she's
much.
helping.
That was a great commercial. Thank you. Yes, I love coaching. I love helping people. So, and I love watching your channel because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about, well, about diabetes then that thinking about the sink when you're pouring stuff down the sink and then the layers and the buildup and the buildup and the buildup, just like the buildup in our arteries. That was what I was trying to say today, and I couldn't. In our arteries, like the
Yeah,
clogging of
it's
the
like
arteries.
when something just clicks and like makes so much sense, and you know so many people are struggling with health things that they have going on, like type 2 diabetes has been like such a thing in my family. My mom suffers with it and my little sister has it. And you know, when I started reading and researching and saw Dr. Neil Barnard has a book, how to reverse diabetes, something along the lines. I'm sure we can link it for people. He was explaining that what ends up happening is everybody, like in their entire life, thinks sugar or carbs is what causes diabetes. So like, I mean, we've all thought that in forever, you know, you eat too much sugar, you're going to get it. So like we all thought that. And then once you had it, I was under the impression like, okay, you just have to, you know, be on medication or you have to live with it. And what they explain in like What the Health and what he explains is that the sugar, basically, like your entire life you could always eat sugar. You could eat a banana and you didn't have high sugar. So when you're, you know, growing up, your sugar goes into the muscle and liver cells where it's supposed to go. So now all of a sudden when you eat like a meat dairy based diet, these cells get clogged up. So the insulin is like little key that opens the cells up for the actual like sugar to get in. So when you actually start to get those cells like clogged up, here comes your sugar and it's like, oh, the insulin can't open it. It's like the lock is blocked. Or like you said, the drain of a sink, you know, like if you have a drain of a sink that's clogged up, no matter what you pour in there, it's going to back up. So it's kind of like the sugar's trying to get down the drain, and it's like, whoops, I can't get in here. So I'm going to go into the bloodstream. So now everybody is like, oh, wait, it's the sugar that's causing it. Now my sugar's high because I ate a banana or I ate some rice or whatnot. And it actually ends up that you just need to like unclog those drains. So the meat and dairy have like little fat particles that get caught in those cells. So that's what happens. Your cells are getting like, they're clogged up. The insulin, which is made by the pancreas, is trying to get into the cell, to let in the sugar, and it nothing can get in. So when you finally go plant-based, hopefully finally, when I finally convince you to go plant-based, right? Or one of us does, or one of our posts, or whatever we do, right? When you go plant-based, those cells start to clear out when you're not putting the extra fat, in the high fat standard American diet. And the next thing you know, your sugar can now get where it's supposed to go. It's, the insulin is like, oh, wait, okay, this is open now. I can, so that's why people are like within 30 days, sometimes people can stop their type 2 diabetes symptoms. They start to be able to lower their medication. So you always want to, like, obviously I'm not a doctor. I've just done a lot of reading. So you want to talk to your doctor if you're on medication, because like a lot of people say, you don't want to let it get too low, because if they're giving you medication that's going to lower the blood sugar, and then you also are like, okay, you don't need it anymore, it's obviously might go too low. So I'm always telling people, if you start to do this, make sure that you tell your doctor if you're on medication, because the goal of any disease is to heal from it. And it clicked to me one day. I'm like, if we didn't always have type 2 diabetes, like if I was not born with it and I'm pre-diabetes, let's say, when I was a little bit overweight, and you can actually stop that from happening. And I don't feel like the medical industry makes that completely clear, how much diet, plays into it. There are great doctors who will, like Dr. Barnard, but for the most part, it's just, this is wrong with you, take this medication, and when
Forever.
I just wanted to scream it to the world, like, you don't have to live with a lot of these things. I've read testimonials of people healing themselves of, like, all kinds of ailments. So but I got off on my diabetes tangent there. So
Well, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let's take 1 second break because Dawn is here. She's coming.
Oh, great.
She's coming. So let's introduce her.
I'm glad she's here to tell about how it got started.
We got to suck it in, everybody. We're shrinking. Hi,
Let's see how
Dawn.
we got here. Hey, how are you? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I know this lady.
I know
Yeah.
you too. You look very familiar. Both of you do.
Well,
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Wow, I'm like right up on the camera.
I was gonna say, I was moving back for you.
Hey,
You
what's
like
going
your
on?
face, though. I mean, that's good.
well,
But yeah, like back in 2019, it was so ironic because Dawn actually had started looking into microgreens and raw food, and she was showing me this video. It was called literally Raw Food. It had Woody Harrelson in it from the old show Cheers, and I'd always really liked him as an actor, and I was like, wait, okay, so he's all raw and he's talking about how much energy he has. There was somebody on there that had reversed their cancer. There was somebody on there, like a bunch of doctors talking, that I had never seen or heard any of this. And I'm like, wow, like, people don't eat meat, so that's what that vegan thing is, I guess, or is that vegetarian? Like, I was so lost, but I decided that day, I was like, I think I'm going to try this. I think I'm just going to I already ate, like, I already fasted most of the day. So I was like, I'm just going to eat salads, and I'm like, Dawn, you want to do it? And we, from that moment, it was like, yeah, let's get started. So I'll let Dawn go ahead and tell her part.
You're doing such a fine job.
I've had a lot of coffee. Speaking
You know,
of coffee
the
beans.
funny thing is, I still have the microgreens set up sitting right over here in my studio. And to this day, and I'm not proud to admit this, I still have not grown not one single. Well, I was growing them for a little while, and I was actually going to sell them. I have a closet full of little plastic containers and things that I was going to sell them to restaurants, but that didn't come off. But I'd never continued growing them just for us to eat, which is something that I think I'm going to pick back up since I still have the equipment. And sprouting. I also picked up sprouting. Sprouting is very easy to do. And it's a healthy thing to add to your salad. When, Jenna, I remember it was 2018 and I had done an extended fast. And I remember I was going to try to do 40 days. Well, I didn't get to 40, but I did do 20.
That's
And
amazing.
I documented it on Facebook. Thank you. Hey, it was a ride. I documented it on Facebook. I was doing a video every day, and I got pretty far in, but then I kind of fell off of that a little bit, and then Jen started experiencing some weirdness right around holiday time. Just some weird stomach issues. And she had been toying with this for a while, I think. And, we were like, maybe we should go vegetarian. And I started looking at all these videos and I saw the microgreens. And I'm like, you know what? We can grow our own food. And I remember there's a YouTube channel that is called Grow Your Own Food with the guy John Cholera. And we actually talked to him. And I said, yeah, I'm interested in growing my own microgreens. So, long story short, Jen took it and ran with it. We both went vegan, but she stuck to it. I fell off of it yet again, fell off of something else. But you see a pattern here. But can you stick with something, Dawn? Can you just stick with something? So finally, after a couple years of her doing it successfully, shout out to you for having the stick-to-itiveness to do that, that inspired me. And she showed me Gary Yourofsky's video where the guy was punching the cow in the head. I'll always keep saying that because I burst into tears and I said, I'm never eating meat again. So that was 2020, like March of 2020. Have not eaten meat since, have not craved meat since. And I'm official vegan anniversary is I don't know the day, I should, but August of last year because I could not let go of pizza. That was the only thing. So I finally let go of pizza, and that was the only thing that I was eating. And I'm not a big cheese person, but pizza
That was her thing.
was my arch nemesis. And I say was because I've thoroughly disciplined myself. I don't even crave it anymore. I can see it on television and truly be disgusted by it. I see mucus. I don't see melted gooey cheese. I see mucus.
Ugh.
Yes, I mean, and the thing is, I think it's important to say too, when we're talking about these things, like when she said I inspired her, I never really pushed her or said, ew, I can't believe you're going to eat that. I just gently, like, what happened, why I continued after that little experiment I was going to do for 3 days eating salads, I went on to a week. And then I literally was like, I think I can do this through the weekend. I can do it. Maybe I'll do it till next week.
You know what? And not to cut you off, I had a foot still in it. When I say I didn't stick to it, I didn't go off the beaten path and start eating cheesesteaks and, hanging out at Outback. When she would eat her salad at night, I would also eat the salad with her as well. But
So she
maybe
was still
for
getting
lunchtime, I'd have a chicken burrito or something the next day. You know what I mean? So I would sprinkle it, I cut it down, and I went off red meat completely. But I would maybe have a fish taco or a chicken burrito, but I was winding down on the meat. But I would also eat these, I did get into the vegetables and ate salads with her. So that part was already established. I just needed to let the meat go. And that finally happened. And this was 2019. That finally happened for me in 2020, where I let the meat completely go.
Yeah, it was like, well, the thing that's different with a lot of people is a lot of people go vegetarian then vegan. Like I literally went raw, which
Straight
I felt
vegan.
like helped me to kind of really clear my system out. So like in 2 weeks from that date, I literally had so much energy. Like, I woke up with energy. I had energy before I went to sleep. I didn't even, you know what I mean? I could get so much done. I felt so focused. like energy without even coffee when I went raw for 2 weeks. And so I was like, I think I'm going to try to do this for a month. I was really into it. I would get my whole grocery list, and I'd have all these veggies. And every night while I was chopping my vegetables, I would make both of our salads. I would watch a video either by Dr. Milton Mills, or I'd watch, health benefits of lettuce or cucumbers.
She
or
was so
tomato
strict.
Or broccoli or
We'd
celery.
be in the market. I'd be like, "Oh, honey, here's some roasted peanuts." Nope, they're roasted. Can't have
I'm
them.
not eating those.
No,
So,
find me some raw nuts. I'll go with that. But no, can't. It's a roasted peanut. No,
it's not raw.
roasted.
I was really, because I had learned, it was like I'd watched so much stuff, and I watched like Fully Raw Christina, and there was so much like benefits in living food. I realized all of a sudden, like all these years, and for me it was like health benefits at first, because that year, was the only year, because since I was like a little kid, that as little as I can remember, I had terrible seasonal allergies. Like I'd have to sit in the back of the class with, my tissues and Dimetap when we'd start school in September. And then in May, my eyes would get watery. I'd get a terrible cold. I started closer to that year when she was talking about the stomach issues. I also was starting to have like these bronchial things going on, where I was just getting like this cough and, shortness of breath and things. And so that year, though, I was like, do you notice something? My allergies never came on. Like that April, that year of 2019, I started. May went on, June went on. I never had any seasonal allergies. I also had like this terrible chronic back pain that I always talk about in all my testimonials. Like literally, sometimes I'd have to be like, Dawn, can you just take that, the skin, and like pull it, because it would get so tight. And I'd have to get on an exercise bike in the morning just to feel good and get myself going, because it would be so tight. Next thing I know, I have no more back pain coming up on like 3 months in. I'm feeling so good. I'm lighter. I've lost weight. I lost like 55 pounds.
Her family was worried. Jen, eat something. Eat something now. They were worried. And I said, listen, I'm a witness. She is doing nothing. She was strict about that too. Like the fasting throughout the day. I remember her feeling guilty because she said, I said, Jen, what's wrong? She said, I had 5 cashews. I said, what? You counted them? 5 cashews. She would not eat throughout the day. This particular day, I guess she was hungry and she wanted to eat something, and she normally would eat 3, but she ate 5 and she was upset. She lost that weight so quickly, but such in a healthy way. And I said, listen, guys, stay off her case. Really, she's probably the healthiest person sitting at this table right now, because I'm watching what she's doing.
Because I had dropped so much, it looked, like something was wrong. But like Dawn, like you said, you were right there. So thank you.
I witnessed it. I saw it. I said, no, she's actually really fine. She's doing nothing but eating vegetables, and she's not eating it all throughout the day. So she's not on drugs. She's not sick. She has legit become vegan, and I'm watching her do it. She's very strict about it. So I see how she lost it and how it's stayed off. She can't gain weight now. She tries. She will eat a pound of potatoes and still stay that same size.
So obviously I ended up putting cooked food in after, it was about 6 months, wasn't it? I think it was about 6 months
in.
Yeah,
it was about that.
I actually myself started to feel like I couldn't get enough raw foods to get I was like, I don't really want to get any smaller, because I've been kind of, I'm not going to say heavier, but I was like, I hadn't been that weight since high school, what I was then, So I like being around 125. So I was like, it helped me. I put in rice, beans, still did whole foods. And then we said, you know what, let's try a couple of these processed products.
Yeah, she had gotten down to 116.
Yes. And now I stay, like, literally no matter how much I eat, even when I go on kicks where I'm eating a lot of rice and beans and heavier things. Even when we went into the processed food. I set up, for the vegan knowledge group, I said, I'm going to try a couple of these. I'm going to try the Gardein chicken patties and all this and that. And next thing I know, we had a freezer full of the Gardein chicken nuggets,
That
the
also came from the Gary
Beyond Meat.
Yorovsky video. And we said, wait a minute. I said, Jen, let's rewind that one section. He goes over a whole slew of foods that we can try, if we have, like, we want a burger or something. And we did. We picked out a few of the things that he talked about and went and tried them out. And we thought, wow, this is really good. Then we got off on that tangent.
I
So
remember
now,
the first day I had Hellman's vegan mayo, or they call it Hellman's vegan dressing. I literally, like, it just all of a sudden came back to me that that was one of the things I loved, was a tomato sandwich with mayo, and I got like so excited. I was like, oh my goodness. When That's the important thing, when you realize, if you want to be vegan, you don't have to do all raw. You don't have to even, the best thing for you is doing the whole food plant based, a little bit of oil, but if you're trying to really optimize health. But the thing is, when it's Thanksgiving, or when it's time, like, you want to go to a cookout with your family, or you want to invite your family, but you don't want to put meat in, the thing is, you can make a meatloaf. They have such amazing recipes. They've got different products. So if that's what's holding you back, thinking you may not be able to have comfort foods when you want them, that's not even
it's
going to
not a
happen.
thing.
And don't forget to try different things. We've tried vegan cheese that we didn't like, and then we turned around and tried another one we did, So it's like, finally, I think, after like 3.5 years, I finally made Dawn a pizza that she thought was like on par for that. But we've got some really good.
It was really
Dawn
good.
does chickpea salad, which we love, and that's still even raw, because you just smash up the chickpeas.
I
Um,
put even more dried seaweed. Didn't it taste just like tuna this time?
it really did. It really
Like,
did.
I
And
mean, I put a lot of dried seaweed in that, and that tasted. I mean, the celery and oh,
and it's like,
I
I've just done
love
so
it.
much, like, research, and like, so many different recipes you can make. Sue just told us the other night you can make walnut, like, meat, like taco meat, out of the walnuts. Vivica was saying, who was on our live stream, and it's like, it was just a world opened up to me that I had no idea existed. And at first, I was doing it for health reasons, and as I was in my vegan groups, I started to see, like, what happens to cows, when they're, um like, when I think I was getting an echo, that's why I stopped. Like, the cows are being artificially impregnated, and they're, on like an assembly line. Then their baby is taken away, and then they're over milked, and the poor things have, like, their breasts are so sore, and they keep milking them and over milk them. And then once they, the baby is had, they rip the baby away, and the mother cries out. And it's like, all this because we're drinking this milk, which it's been proven it causes cancer and different, it's causing people to have these fat particles, and causing diabetes and insulin resistance. And just, I mean, there's so much going on with animals that I never connected. Okay, I love my cat. I would never want anything to hurt her. She has a personality. And I started seeing these videos about slaughterhouses, and how the pets or the cows are scared. And I was like, wow, like, I never connected it all these years um, that this was going on. And I'm like, I've been a meat eater for 42 years. So it kind of, is like, between me and Dawn, we do the Meatless Monday, and I started the vegan group. It's just because I feel like the best way, speaking of the coffee bean theory, is to really show people and tell them your journey, because forcing people doesn't work. I
How
was
long
not,
have you had that group now, Jen?
since like the first maybe week that I was, um, I think maybe even probably like the second week, when I started feeling the energy, and watching
Like,
those
so, like,
videos.
almost like 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's the
wow.
Facebook group, or is that the YouTube?
That's the Facebook group. That the YouTube came later, and I kind of got into it, and then I stopped making videos for a while, and then so I've started it back up really heavily. I would say 2 years ago, and started consistently posting. So the Facebook is Vegan Knowledge. It's called Vegan Do It Group Vegan Knowledge with the little play on vegan. But if you search Vegan Knowledge without the K, you can find it, and then the YouTube is or Veganology JJ on YouTube.
Okay. Well, definitely you'll be telling those again at the end. But right now, I want to, we're not going to miss the coffee bean.
Oh
So
yes.
let's go to that.
So the coffee bean story, it's like when I was in working in a place called back in a call center in Baltimore, where I'm from, this girl passed out this story, or one of the other managers that had a story about a mother that was trying to help her daughter who was going through this really difficult situation. And what she had was three. She said, okay, I'm going to give you, there's 3 pots of water. And it's very ironic because in this story it talks about cooking an egg. So I've joked sometimes, I'm like, I wish I could find another vegetable that had the same analogy to it that I could use. But she puts in the first pot of water, she tells her daughter, put the carrot in that pot of boiling water. So the daughter puts the carrot in, and then she says, okay, now I'm going to take the second pot and I want you to put in an egg. So she puts that in. And then the third pot, she tells her to put in a coffee bean. So she puts the coffee bean in the third pot. And the daughter's like, Mom, what does this have to do with the situation I'm going through? And she's like, well, I want you to look at the boiling water as the situation that you're dealing with, as the diversity. And I want you, that's your environment. And I want you to look at each of these, things that you've put in. So she takes the carrot out, and the carrot, what is it? It's mushy. She says, okay, so if you end up being the carrot, you're going to kind of crumble under the pressure of life, and you're going to kind of, and that I relate that to, let's say we're vegan, and we realize it's a great thing, but we feel isolated because our family doesn't eat that way, or maybe they even make fun of us, or your friends have disassociated with you because they're like, okay, you're now, eating weird, or you think you're better, or whatever the case. And so that can be, you just hibernate, you don't talk to anybody, you don't post anything about it on Facebook. Let's just say you feel just, weakened, which is where you actually come in to kind of help people, I think, in their vegan journey. And then so the egg is the second thing. If you look at the environment as adversity, which I look at the way I relate it to veganism, I've used this for a lot of things in my life, and a lot of my teams at work. I've tried to explain to them it's not the environment, it's how we kind of relate to our environment that makes the difference. So if you look at the egg has this really like tough exterior on the outside, but on the inside it's a completely different thing. It's mushy. So she said, this could harden you. So this might be the type of maybe activist that's yelling at other people, or telling people you don't know how to eat, or you don't, and shoving it kind of in people's face because they're angry. Which I think when we find out what happens to animals, we are angry, and it's like it makes it easy to be discouraged and to be kind of mad at the world when you see all the pharmaceutical commercials coming on, and you see everybody with the commercials with the cows walking around smiling like, they're grass fed and this and that. Yes, because that's what we're supposed to eat. But anyway, that's another story. And then you have the third pot of water. She takes the coffee, she looks at it and she's like, wait, the coffee bean is the only pot of water where the actual item I put in actually changed the environment. So it became this beautiful, delicious coffee, and with a great aroma. Now I'm making myself want coffee. And it actually is showing that the coffee bean, which she wants her daughter to be, changed the environment. But they didn't change it by forcing it on it. They actually used the boiling water to become, they made an example of it. They projected their coffee bean onto the water. So that's what I think we're trying to do as vegans, all of us, whether it's the show that we do on YouTube or making a post, or like you did the other week talking to someone in a grocery store, saying, hey, this is, they saw your cart and that opened up conversation. Sometimes meeting people where they are in their journey and relating to them, listen to their environment. What do you have going on? Do you have health issues? Are you environmentalist? Are you animal lover? And showing them what you've done. Like, I tell people that I healed my allergies and my back pain and lost weight. So if somebody's interested in that, they're going to say, okay, I saw you do it. I don't have to tell them. I knew I was not healthy, what I was eating for years. I didn't know about being vegan, but I always say, I wish I had seen something sooner. So, like, if any of us can be that person, for that person that really needs the information, but might not even know they need it, I feel like we could coffee bean the world, one of us, each of us at a time. So that's my coffee bean story. Thank you for letting me tell it. I love that story. I just don't like the egg part because I would never cook an egg ever again. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a great story. I mean,
poor Dawn had to listen to it again.
well, thank you, Don, for
It's a
listening
good
again.
story.
Yeah,
It's a good
it's a good
story.
story because whatever environment we're in, I mean, to make the best use of the environment, right? We're spreading our light. I see that it's the coffee bean spreading its energy into that water, and and changing everything. And that's what we can do. We can spread our energy to the world and change the world. And that's so important to spread the right energy. It's got to be positive and it's got to be peaceful because I mean we're not. Because what if it was a bad energy for the coffee bean? It would be all terrible and
Right.
gross and so
Right. And Dawn is a very positive spirit. Like, she has like a lot of great energy that she brings
I'm a
out. And
Grinch.
you wish you were the Grinch. You couldn't be the Grinch around me anyway because I'd probably make you laugh, even the Grinch. But we have
You have great
noticed
energy too,
as
and
soon
it feeds off each other.
it does. And I think the vegetables and fruits, like, I feel like our energy and our vibe is just at a whole heightened level because we don't put animal products in our system. It's like we always were kind of like happy people because it's like you have to be grateful just to be here. We're all going through things. I have anxiety that I deal with and different things, but it's like for the most part, everything you eat gets in there and helps. People don't realize how much it gets into your like cells, when you're eating well and you don't have that violence that the animal went through.
Look, anxiety. Hint, hint. Menopause. Wink, wink.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Oh, 40 was.
It's like you're calling it anxiety, but trust you me, any woman who is over 40 knows exactly what you're going through. And
I've never worried so
yeah,
much in my life about everybody and everything. I feel like I'm just constant in a state of worry, and I'm like, what is going on? I used to be like so carefree.
when your hormones start changing, you start getting feelings and thoughts that you didn't used to, or if you did get them, they didn't bother you as much as they do now. And as you grow closer to, um, you know, the fate that we're all going to go through one day, it gets to be a little bit more of a scarier ride because you realize you're coming closer and closer to that. So the anxiety doesn't help at all. So one of the things that helped me, and Jen kind of came into it with me, and I like this because we throw things at each other, and when one of us finds something that really works for us, we share it with the other one, and hopefully it'll work for the two of us, and not just one of us. But Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now talks about the acceptance of what is in the moment, and especially if you can't change it, you got to learn how to be at peace. And this ties into the vegan thing because when you eat food that is of the earth, like fruits and vegetables that, nature intended for us to eat, it actually makes it easier for you to be more on an even keel. And things like, death or transformation, as I like to call it, doesn't become so scary because you realize it's all a part of the scheme of things. And
Yeah.
everything has to go through that. And when you become a part of the earth from eating a part of the earth, you kind of go back to that mentality. You kind of go back to that spirit of what is natural. So all of a sudden, things like death don't become as scary because they're inevitable. And to waste time being afraid or worried about something inevitable is fruitless. So you might as well accept it. And then if you're eating vegan and if you're eating vegetables and fruits and things, it makes it a lot easier to accept it naturally.
Yeah,
That's
because yeah.
the healing, like bananas, for example, and I think even cantaloupe. There's actual fruits that help you create the serotonin in the brain. So it literally can change your mood. It's not even just saying, oh, because you're eating healthier, you're going to feel better overall. Sometimes just right at that moment, you'll feel a heightened sense of just
Meditation's good.
mhm.
Start working out. Even if you can't work out like, on a gym or so, take a walk. Exercise is very good for the brain, very good for the soul. And meditating, breath work, taking in some deep breaths and holding them in and then letting them out slowly and flooding your body with oxygen. All of that goes hand in hand with the food. It's not just the food, it's all of that. And if you
Mhm.
do all of that, you'll find out that you'll end up just changing who you are as a person, you know?
That's
It's
very true.
true.
I mean, we got to have these, and we have to have these tools because if we're well, I mean, I know it's very frustrating with our families. If our families don't, I mean, everyone, pretty much 99% of the people that I'm talking to, I ask, well, are your families vegan, right? And they're like,
I heard you ask your guest earlier, and they said no as well. It's funny, right?
yes. I mean, it's very, very rare. I mean, I'm lucky my brother, and his girlfriend are, but
Oh, good. I didn't even know that.
Oh
That's
my
great.
goodness, Jen, remember a couple days ago I brought it up in the trading group that I'm a part of, and they about put me on the cross.
what
Yeah.
happened? What happened?
Well,
I'm
it's
like,
like
okay, you
they
know what? I'm just
really,
gonna let it go.
she really
I'm
had a
talking
moment
about
with that.
reversing disease. Nah, you can't reverse. Okay,
I think
alrighty.
people are very
I'm not gonna
resistant,
fight this battle
and
because
I love.
I know what it's done. I've met people that it's done. I'm living it. But if you want to stay in that mentality, there's nothing that I can do, and I'm not going to frustrate myself trying to change your mind. You lead through example. People see you. They go, wow, you're how old? You look like you're about. Yeah, well, lead through example.
But
And
why do
This
they
is
sometimes
not want to
how.
believe? I mean, people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to accept it when you say,
Nope.
they oh, let me tell, I mean that that you can turn it around. They don't want to hear it. They want to just keep, I guess, I
Nope.
guess
It
it's the
is what it is.
addictive
That
food.
this is what it. No, you have choices. You have
that's why I
options.
love
You're in
talking to
control of that.
people and having them tell their story. Like that's what we do on the Monday stream. We used to call it Amazing Plantzformations, and then it became Meatless Monday. But Dawn has personally spoken with people, and so have I. So what she was saying, like, it was like when someone tells you that you can't be right, but you have proof and facts, and like I'm like, all we
It
have
was
to
a
do is
conversation about diabetes, and somebody had it, and it's like, well, there are things that you can do and eat and behaviors that you can take on that will literally reverse it for you. Well, my son has type 1. I didn't say type 1. We know there's some things that are beyond the limits, but if you have type 2, or depending on how far along you are, there is a possibility you can reverse it. Nah, there's a, okay.
well, that's what I did when I first started like delving into this. All of a sudden, I was like, wait, okay, this lady is talking. He's talking about he healed his asthma because of the amount of I guess mucus that can be presented in dairy. That really helped his symptoms of asthma. And then so I just started Googling things. I was like, whenever I'd see somebody had something, I'd be like, hey, do you I healed such and such on a plant-based diet, or I reversed such and such, and all of a sudden I would find 100, different stories of people, and I'm like, these are so hidden. It would just drive us like crazy to be like, why don't people know this? And I feel like I love, we both love helping people and seeing success stories and journeys like that. And like, that's why we do what we do. That's why we put things out. That's why I'm so, thankful that you let us come on here. So,
Yeah. Well, maybe if those people suffer enough, it's sad, but if they're suffering enough,
It
they
is.
might remember, oh, well, Dawn was trying to tell me something. Maybe now I can go back to her, and get her off the cross and see if she's still alive.
And you know what? And I will be glad to talk to them if they do. I'm like,
yep.
forgive them, for they know not what they do. They know not what they think. They know not what they say. People are just gonna, that. And you can't be mad because it's programming. It's not their fault. They
It's how we
don't.
all thought.
Right. It's programming. Now, at some point, it is up to them. If you hear something, at least go and research it. Don't just resign to lose the battle because you just think that's the way it is. If somebody throws you a life raft, at least go and research it. You may not believe it yourself, but you know what? Challenge me. If you don't think I'm telling the truth, go look it up.
Or better,
Go look it
go ahead
up.
and go plant-based for 30 days and then tell me I'm
Right.
wrong that you don't feel
And
better
you'll
if you
find,
don't.
holy crap, she was right. There are people who have legitimately done this. Why did I not listen? You know?
Well, that's one of the dreams like I have that I would love to be able to see, and to for us all collectively to be a way to do that, like to get something, mainstream that tells these stories, like, I mean, we all have different YouTube channels, and the more we can even flood YouTube with our testimonials, and like how, okay, now I don't have allergies, I lost weight. There's another person who's talking on there that they've, cured their type 2 diabetes, and then, talking about how they feel better spiritually, letting people know what we know, because that's why it's important that we coffee bean the world and not, get mad at people because they don't know, because everybody has to be ready. Like, somebody might not have, they might have heard from me, okay, yeah, I was plant-based, and they may not even think about it again until something later on, they see something else, or maybe they start to have a health condition, and or maybe they, all of a sudden one day we're watching a video of a cow on Facebook, and they have the connection, and they can come back to you. And if you, like we were talking about, we did at Dot Health. I loved the training that I did there, because it really opened and explored a lot of that, how to deal with other people and how to help open them up. You have to ask them questions and leave it open, or they're going to feel closed off or feel like turned off by the whole thing, because it's like, oh, she's mean, so vegans are mean, like. And it's like, it's for me and Dawn, I know when we hear somebody starts feeling better because of something that one of us said, or somebody, like if I sent them one of
So
your
gratifying.
dreams, it's like it feels better than even when I was feeling better. Like, it legit makes me like have this, like, it's like I feel like I know my life's purpose now, to help other people to be able to realize this information and get healthy. It seems like it's weird that it happened at 42, and I don't full time pursue that, but like every minute that I'm not at work, I'm literally either posting something, telling somebody about vegan, trying to come up with
She's
different
on a
ways,
mission.
live streams that we can do, different guests we can have. Like, I'm definitely on a mission, as we all are. That's how I met you, because we have that core value that we all know that this is information that everybody needs to know, and it's like, how do we tell them, and how do we get it out there, and then how do we take care of ourselves, which is what you do. You help us to get through those days when we're being pushed back, or like what happened to Dawn, when everybody's like, that's not true, that's too good to be true, and just shuts her down even though she has proof. It's like, that's why we all need to kind of take care of each other, and we may need a coach.
Well, yeah, we need community for sure. It's important. And also it's really great because certain people resonate with different people. Like somebody might not want to hear me, but they might want to hear you all, right? So I mean, it's great to have all these different
I
streams
think
doing
everybody wants to hear MQ, but that's okay.
well, who knows? But anyway, and
We
let's
do.
talk about, we did it is great too. We did it Health, and I work with them too. But we've got great live streams on Saturdays at noon coming up here. I mean, every Saturday at noon on We Did It Health channel, there's someone there helping with communication and health and relationships. I did a series on relationships, mending relationships. Um,
That's one of
so
the things we were very lucky about. Like the way that we kind of deal with each other already, it played right into this because we're both individuals that you can't try to change someone else. You know what I mean? All you can do is be yourself and show the good things that you're doing. Like when she saw, like, wait, you did lose a bunch of weight. Let me think, what's going on here? You look healthier. Your skin looks better. Let me try this. If I had continuously tried to, well, you showed me the video. Now, why are you eating this or that? That would have, I feel like, turned her off. And like when we first met, believe it or not, I can't even believe this because of how like much of a, I guess you would call health nut I am now. But when we met, what, 15, how long ago?
$2,008.
I used to actually smoke cigarettes, and
wow.
and Dawn had just quit, and I was like, I want to quit, and so it was like, but she didn't like push me to do it, but she told me the story about how much better she feels and how much clearer,
And
and
I
I'm
only
like,
smoked for 6 years. I started smoking at 30. All those years, never wanted to smoke a cigarette, and got stressed out at work and joined somebody for a smoke break and kind of got hooked on them and smoked for 6 years. And one day I said, okay, that's good. I'm good. I get it. I get it. I get why they do it. Even to this day, I get it, but no, it's not for me. So
and
I shut that off. But literally, it was about 6 years in, and then I met Jen, and she had expressed she wanted to. I said I quit smoking about 6 years ago, and this is what I did. But the thing about it, and where she's the road she's going down, we don't force anything on each other. We give each other room to be who we are and grow in that. If you want to change to be this, give them space to do it. I'm like, if you want to quit, quit. Definitely. I'm not going to force you to quit, but I can tell you this: I feel so much better from quitting. You know. And she smoked maybe for another 6 months that we were together, and then
maybe
she
if even
quit.
that.
And it helped that I had already quit, so she didn't have that temptation there.
With speaking of smoking, that's another thing too. Remember that doctors were promoting it. Did you ever see those commercials? Like Camel is the best cigarette that you can smoke. And so when you look at what the like we're in an evolution or a revolution right now of all this information. We're almost at the height of some people are really kicking and screaming and fighting that a whole food plant-based diet can prevent reverse disease, is best for the environment. That what goes on with animals is starting to come to light even more with social media. And just like what happened with cigarette smoke, everybody for years, and even I did, I knew it wasn't the best thing for me when I was young. I'm in my 30s. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to live forever. And then you realize at some point, wait, that's what I'm doing. That's what's happening. But the thing is, no matter what you've done or what you've put in your body, you can start to reverse that. Whatever you've done is the great thing about making a change, even, and you have to start somewhere. Just go to the store and buy all the stuff and say you're going to do it. Dawn always has this thing where she says, it's that's who I was yesterday, and that's not who you
That's
are.
who I was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Always growing, growing. And that's what we talked about with the little bodybuilder. He's not little, but the young, what's his name? Gabriel.
Jason?
Gabriel.
Oh, Gabriel. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking of your guest right before him, right?
No, Gabriel was talking about like we can't just be maintaining. He said we've always got to move forward, right? And yes, we don't want to be stagnant. My gosh, we've got to always be checking out. And I love the way you're talking about Eckhart Tolle's book about the good earth. Is that the name of it? The new earth? Or?
He did the New Earth, but he did the Power of Now.
Yeah, the
That was,
power of now. I
yeah.
read that one. And so talking about the ego and an ego plays a lot into this, when
Yes.
we are advocate, when we're trying to change people's minds, it's our ego that gets hurt, like, and then we get angry. If we could put our ego on the side and come from a place of confidence and peacefulness and not having any outcomes, like,
Now,
well,
see that's I was doing live streams on my channel midday meltdown, where I was talking about mental health and trying to help people kind of come into their own with thoughts and the process of that. That's Jen, is her focus is the body. I'm the mind,
uh,
and we come together because
And
I
I'm the one
help
that
her with
studied
mind stuff. She
psychology,
helps me
oddly
with
enough.
body stuff. Yeah.
It's funny, right? We're like, and we used to call ourselves Fast and Raw too, because she was really knew a lot about
I love
fasting and was on
fasting.
the raw. So it was
I
like we
love
guys,
fasting. I
yeah,
still
and
love it. I still
love
do
doing
it.
it daily.
Yeah, I
We
still do it.
I've
it's
never
the
done it.
simplest diet that you can have is
It's
plant
not
based
easy,
too.
but it does become easy if you get used to doing it.
Yeah, well,
Becomes easy.
I need to start doing more raw, but I've been eating a lot more raw. I've been, you know what? I went through the grocery store today, and it was exciting because I saw the chips, and wasn't tempted. Normally I'd be like, in the old days, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want some chips, I want some chips.
I
But
still
now,
eat chips.
yeah, that's okay. Today, for once in my life, I didn't go like, oh, I want all the chips.
I still have a
I mean,
chip thing.
I have them sometimes, but it was just weird though. I wasn't so drawn to them,
Yeah,
that strong desire. I mean, I did have some chips earlier, to like some tortilla chips with my brother, but just being able to go in the store and not like, "Oh, I want those
yeah.
chips, it's very interesting, you're not, I mean, you
I've
see,
gotten better though. I was getting them
Yeah,
quite
and
a bit, but I've gotten
you
better.
have you've done
well, it's
really
all
well.
right.
I'm so proud of
She would
you.
order groceries, and every day I'd be like, "Hey, can you order me some barbecue chips?" And now I'm not even asking for them. You know what I mean? It's just like I go through periods where it's like, okay, that's you gotta control that. You gotta get control of that so that you can, because if you can do it with one thing, you can do it with other things. You
Yeah,
know,
and I
so
mean,
it's
as long as you're
training.
not eating 10 bags of chips, it's okay, but it was just weird that the taste, like they say, 2 weeks and your taste buds will change.
Yep.
So that's
I
You
couldn't
very,
start
believe
to
I stopped eating
crave
pizza.
that
I'm like, no
goodness.
way. I can't believe that I'm not craving pizza. But it took about 2 weeks. You're absolutely right. It was about 2 weeks in, I realized that I wasn't thinking about it as much. And about a
right.
month in, I had no craving at all for it, because the weekend would come and I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself to a pizza. I know it's cheese, I know it's mucus, I know I shouldn't have it. And it's so weird, because if I had gone a few days or a week or so and didn't have a pizza that week, then I would notice that I would start to, some of the phlegm would clear out, right? And I would feel clearer. But if I ate a pizza, I noticed it come back. So that was one of the main selling points. I said, Jen, I'm kind of stuffy right now. And I ate pizza this week, didn't I? I said, wow, there it is. They're absolutely. I have to test it for myself too. I don't just take people's word. So I'm like, wow, that it's absolutely right. I noticed a difference when I ate pizza and when I didn't, in the mucus content that's in my body, and how I'm breathing, and if I'm getting stuffy or not. It is correlating with this cheese that I'm eating and this dairy. And I let it go, and no more. I used to
That feels
wake up and
so
I would
good.
have phlegm. Not a whole lot, because I've been vegan for a while. So it was offsetting things, but at the same time, I would have some of that left because I would still eat this pizza. None of that now. And I wasn't hacking in the morning, but there was just enough little phlegm for it to be irritating and uncomfortable. And of course, it'd clear up by midday, but still, I would wake up with it every morning. That is no longer. And
That's
I'm like,
interesting.
You can't even
wow.
believe you're the same person sometimes. Like when you think about, oh, I like you said, I don't want those chips. Like your body starts to
Yeah.
crave the things that are making it feel good. Your body will automatically tell you. Like I get so excited every night about sitting down with all my fruit and vegetables, and I've been looking into eating a lot more fruits too. I'll have to send you some of the
She's
stuff
thinking
I
about
found
becoming a
on that.
fruitarian.
So it's like, but there's so many different ways to do this. However, I've found it's the simplest thing you can think of as far as diets. I say this on the stream all the time. You don't have to count each little calorie, or that you have to have, I can only have lettuce the size of a quarter or whatever, you can eat as much as you want, and you just take out meat and you take out dairy. And at first it seems like a big thing, but when you start cooking and finding other ways to eat, and that's becomes your habit, your tastes completely change, and you start to feel like you're a different person. Like I can't ever believe I ate the way I did, or even because mentally, and you become a different person because you just have this ultra compassion about you. You start to realize that everything has feelings. That's not an animal I'm supposed to eat, because why would that be an animal I'm supposed to eat it? And why am I supposed to love this one? Like, started as a health journey becomes this evolution into, like, that you just want to, like, coffee bean the world, I guess, for
Right.
lack
Yeah,
of
and
a better
that's
term.
interesting. I just had I'm not going to mention any names or descriptions, but someone tell me that the last time they ate wings, that it was really gross. And there was, because there was been a big period where they hadn't eaten wings, and it was like so disgusting. And they went home and they felt sick, and they didn't want to talk about the wings. And it was just, it was really good to hear.
Yeah.
I
Like,
didn't want
sorry
to
you were
talk
sick,
about him
but that's
anymore.
great.
I'm happy to hear that. But yeah, yeah, it was just on and on about how horrible the wings were. And so I thought, hallelujah. Anyway,
It's
I tried to play a little mental game with myself recently. I'm like, go ahead, order pizza. Like, go ahead. I'm like, no. I don't even, it was the angel on my show. I'm the angel now. And I'm like, no, I don't even want it. It's not even like, I can't even tempt myself.
that's so
And
that
interesting.
phrase you use when you talk about gooey mucus, that definitely has, I think that's helped you. And I
look,
told her before,
you
I
are
literally
your
look at meat
own.
terrible now. Like it's disgusting. Like sometimes
Right.
I don't even want a Beyond Burger or things like that, because it looks so much like it. It's weird how you, at first you might need it to transition, but if you can get rid of all of that, I'm
And you're
telling
your
you.
own worst enemy. It's like I was the one making me eat the pizza. I was the only one that could make me stop. So
That's
as
so
much as,
interesting
yeah,
because that's why you have to love who you are, in that you can't love the person who you're going to be. You have to love that person that you are now, right? Let's just say if you're
that's
100
huge.
pounds overweight, you have to love that 100-pound overweight person, because she's going to be the one to make the change,
Yep,
right?
Right. That is so
absolutely.
true. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
this is very
inspiring.
interesting. So I guess we're coming to the end of the hour. I know we could talk forever, but so I'm going to, but
We sure could.
let's talk about, let's, last points, and also tell everybody where they can find you, the YouTube, and please hit subscribe, everybody, and
Thank you.
tell us.
Subscribe to this channel and Vegan Knowledge, and J&J Video Reacts. She has a channel as well.
JJ Video Reacts.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Yes,
not, what is your little tagline? It's not about what happens in life, it's how you react to it.
that's it.
Oh, okay. Got,
Either
yes,
that's it or I
amen.
made that up, and you should use it and pay me for it. I'm just kidding. You made it up.
It's a
But
reality television review channel, among other things. Sometimes I'll go on there and I'll do mental health stuff as well.
and we have Vegan Knowledge is the Facebook group, and that's really good to come on if you need ideas. There's people on there that just never have even thought about being vegan, up to people who have been vegan for like life or many, many years. So it's a lot of good experience when you post something, people can comment underneath, and I post videos and different things I find, helpful information about what this can do for your body. And sometimes it's just different fun things that we do. Sometimes it's trivia and something like that. And then YouTube, Veganology JJ, TikTok, Veganology JJ. I think I am on there too, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff, but you'll find us. You can just go to maybe Mariquita's channel, and I'm always commenting on there, so you can message. And we're like always here to help. If you need help mentally, how to get past eating, Dawn's always there for that, and I'm there to help you with how to veganize food. And then the other thing I wanted to say is we have to plan one where you can come on and talk about your coaching on Meatless Monday soon too, Mariquita.
Yeah, definitely. I have a client in Australia at that time.
Well, we'll do it a different time because I
Yeah.
can do it early.
Oh, okay.
We can do a different day of the week. It doesn't have to be Monday, but
All right. Yeah.
I think we should have one of those again. It was so rushed the last time, I remember. I don't think we had proper time to advertise it or to get it out there. I think you came on last minute with us one. But
Yeah, that was spontaneous. That was fun. Yeah. So, but I'm not gonna. Well, I might have her for a long time. You never know. But I was gonna say,
That's cool. Australia, huh? Wow.
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the time difference, but that's what's great about this. I mean, is that being able to reach so many people. And she found me on YouTube, of all places. Imagine that. So, yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna. I think that's another reason we do this stuff. I was gonna say because look at the raw food documentary. Who has ever even heard of that? Most people, and you, Gary Yourofsky, the most important speech, Dawn. That's what kind of changed her mind about. And it was for different reasons, health reasons, animal reasons, but it always evolves into all. So if you can, even send somebody a video or something like that, or if somebody sees your video, you may not even know them. They may never say a word, but it changed their life. So
Right.
Thank you guys for everything you do.
Well, thank y'all. This has been wonderful. And I want to make sure everybody subscribes and checks out Vegan Knowledge and JJ React. JJ React.
J&J Video Reacts.
J&J Video React.
We are so proud of you, Dawn, for giving up the pizza. I know I am.
Yes.
If Dawn can do it, you can do it.
My gosh, there's so many great stories that y'all had. I mean, of your transformation. It's very powerful. So we're always looking. I mean, I know that y'all are looking for guests too. I'm looking for guests who have really great stories of transformation. So if if you've got a great story, please reach out to us because we want to tell the world. People need to see that. People
Yes,
need to
they
hear
do.
your stories.
You will change your life
They
if
need
you
to know
become
that it's
whole
happening
food
and
plant-based.
people are changing their lives and they are doing it and it is a real thing. And please subscribe to Mariquita's channel.
Yes, please subscribe, y'all. And thank you, everyone, for being here and watching. My brother actually put this up. He was great conversation. Sorry I had to drop. I bought all vegan cupcakes for a birthday party and just arrived. I'll tell them at the end they were vegan. I know. I was like, where are my cupcakes?
Birthday.
Lunch was done.
I said, where are
And
my
he brought all these-
cupcakes?
I know. He said, oh, I guess I should have gotten some for us. No kidding. Well, he's over there eating one, and I didn't get anything. But anyway,
Oh no!
I know.
You from the
Tell
cupcake.
him to make sure he saves you one or two of them and bring them home.
That's what happened. And send us one virtually, right?
Yeah.
I'm only eating raw right now, so you guys are gonna have my cupcake maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, y'all. And I will see you online. And thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks for having
Namaste,
us.
vegan.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good evening. Go get that cupcake.